I do want to go over some like brief first impressions of Persona 3 because this is my second Persona game ever. If you don't count, like, I played one of the Persona 5 spin-offs. So like mainline Persona game, this is my second one. I played Persona 5. That is in my top 5 favorite games of all time. And that's really my only exposure with the Persona series. So I really tried to go into it as a fan of Persona and not a fan of Persona 5 because I know Persona 5 does a lot of things differently, and Persona 3 also does a lot of things differently because they're different games. They have a different cast, different time period, different way of getting the personas, and like all of these things. But this is also why I waited to play the remake, because I knew they were going to make it a lot more similar to Persona 5. So, couple things I will note is it is a very fun game. It is a very addicting game. And what's nice is going into this game, I actually know how to play a Persona game now. Because when I started Persona 5, I was completely unaware of like how to space out your day, how to maximize your day, get your social links, work your part-time job, make your money, go do the palaces. Like, I was really confused on all of that for the first 3 months in game. Until like my friend Colin, I essentially was streaming it on Discord, and we would sit here until like late at night just grinding Persona 5, which was really fun. But now going into Persona 3, I know how to do all of that. I actually have my iPad sitting in front of me, but whenever I'm playing, I have, because you can dual screen on an iPad, I have my own personal notes broken down by day of like what social links I can do on what day, when I'm working my part-time job, what else I have on those days. And then next to it, I have like the guide for all the social links so I can max them out and actually do it right. So those two things put together make this a lot more enjoyable, even though it sounds like a lot. And it sounds like, why would you want to put that much work into a video game? It's really not as much work as it sounds. I really love the music, which Persona has always had really great music. I think that's one of the biggest staples of the series. The music is great. The characters are great. The combat is actually, it's intense because I forgot how intense it was because it's a turn-based RPG. So having to like get reaccustomed to all the weaknesses and stuff, fusing personas is not something I was good at in Persona 5. So now I'm really trying to like learn the ins and outs of the fusing system and how to make sure all the skills transfer over and what's the most ideal way to fuse personas. And I have been doing a lot of grinding in Tartarus. For those who have played Persona 3 before, you'll understand what I mean by that. So I'm also like trying to do it all in one go. So like I'll just turn on a podcast and be like, all right, gonna grind 30 floors of Tartarus and just hope for the best and get it all done at once. So I think last night when I saved, I have 12 hours in it already, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you work a 40-hour-a-week job and have a social life, I was shocked that I found 12 hours of my schedule to put into a video game. So all that being said, I look forward to playing it more because I can already tell it's going to be a very different game story-wise, and I'm very excited to see where that goes and where all these characters go. And I asked Colin, I was like, hey, just based on the intro, this game seems like it's going to be just a little dark, because also the way you summon your persona is by taking a gun and putting it to your head and shooting yourself in the head. So like that's pretty dark compared to like Persona where you're just ripping off, or Persona 5 where you're ripping off the mask. And he was like, yeah, it's definitely a much darker game. And I'm like, oh, cool.
See, I find it wildly entertaining. You're like, my week was so long. I just don't want to be an adult. I'd rather just play my game where I have a part-time job and go to school and have to do all these social things. And, it sounds like a lot of work. It's just more fun, It's just more. And I'm just kind of like, I was sitting here like, wait a minute. You just described exactly what you said you wanted to escape from.
So I found this post on Twitter. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Gamer perfectly balances work, school, and social life in Persona by ignoring all these things in real life. And it's
That's perfect.
Here's the thing though, is when you're playing the game, it's different because you don't have to actually like sit through school. You're not stuck there for 8 hours. You're stuck there for like 30 seconds and you move on to the next thing.
Right.
So it does sound weird. They're like, oh, I'm sick of being an adult, but I'm going to go play a game where I live as a virtual teenager.
Right.
It does sound weird, but Persona 3 Reload is really fun. I just vibe to the opening every single time. Like, I will not skip it every time I play because I got to get myself in the right mental space. It's also very different because I'm playing on PlayStation, which I've never played a game on PlayStation before. So I have to get used to all the different buttons because all the different buttons are in a different place than they are on Switch or Xbox. And then I have to fight the urge because like you know how Xbox and Switch controllers look. They have the offset analog sticks. The PlayStation, they're right next to each other. So I have to fight the urge for my hand to go up to where it would normally be. And like they're on the same level. So getting used to the controls has been a really big learning curve too. But I am glad I could get the game on PlayStation because it seems like Xbox is not doing too hot.
Great.
Well, we'll come back to that in a minute.
We'll come back to that.
So,